All right, Shalom. It's your brother Yaiqua. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, glory, and worship to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, B'cha, Kodash. Of course, the elders and the apostles that have who were and do were overseeing the tabernacle of David, starting from Prophet Abba Bivens on down to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Greetings and salutations to you, Akim, Atazadakim, which are you upright, righteous ones, pushing the word in truth and sincerity, all right, which are the 144K, hopefully let. Likewise, greetings to you sisters, you Akwath, that are in all subjection in the ministry and the truth. All right, wanted to do a lesson concerning examination. It's a very important exercise for each and every one of us to manifest before the coming of Yahweh Shai. And to be most specific, I'll say self-examination. All right, self-examination, self-rebuke. We're going to jump right into the scriptures. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, and the 5th verse. It says, "Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith." Right. So, yeah, you know you're an Israelite. Yeah, you say Shalom. Yeah, you put up 3 videos a week. Yeah, you hit the byways every week. But are you loving your brother as you love yourself? Do you really believe in this thing, or are you just going through the motions? Because this is really for the brothers, because of course I can talk about people who say they Israelites but not going out to the byways. We know their works, of course, but for those who, the average, eye might not be able to see if you're going off. Sometimes it's only we know if we're going off, man. The scripture, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Only, we know our thoughts as individuals. We understand if we're doing certain actions in sincerity, or is it for vainglory or alternate motives. These are things that Yahweh Shah is going to judge us upon. Are we doing this thing, as we say, in truth and in sincerity? Or are we seeking the name? Remember, in the book of Maccabees, the brother of Judas, if I'm not mistaken, he was seeking the name. Matter of fact, let's get that. I'm going to finish this scripture real quick. It says, "Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves." Right. You don't got to prove it to me. You don't have to prove it to your head of your camp. You don't have to prove it to the apostles. But you do have to prove it to Yahweh Shah. So whether or not you're doing this thing and coming up in this thing the proper way, you have to examine yourself if you are going off or not, man. And we're going to get into it more in depth concerning how, we can examine ourselves and what we can do to, basically exercise our faith and, get the answers. Because sometimes we're confused and if we did something right or wrong, but the Lord, he will reveal it to us. And how we act upon that revelation will determine our fate. It'll determine our fate. However the Lord reveals, he works in mysterious ways, But, and we're going to get more in depth into it. I'm going to finish this up. It says, "Know ye not yourselves how that Yahweh Shemashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates?" And a reprobate is somebody who is disqualified, unimproved, illegitimate. You know, and we don't want to fall in that class. We don't want to be of that number of the reprobate spirit. We want to have our hands clean. You know, we want to have our hands clean, and we want to make it out of this thing, man. We want salvation. All right. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna grab that scripture I was speaking about it in the Maccabees, seeking vainglory. It's the Lord knows the intents of the heart, you know. And that's important. What was that? I believe I was reading it in the Apocrypha. Pretty sure it was in the Apocrypha. I'm pretty sure. Slovakia. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, I believe this is it. This is it. This is the book of First Maccabees, the 6th chapter, the 43rd verse. It says, Eleazar, Eleazar also surnamed Savaron, perceiving that one of the beasts armed with royal harness was higher than all the rest, and supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy, to the end he might deliver his people and get a perpetual name. So the first part was good. The second part, it was that comes with it by doing this thing in sincerity. But having that as a forefront. Now, of course, you want your name to be honored. Don't get me wrong. But he was out of order because he was seeking vainglory. All right, it wasn't about that. It was about the mission. It was about fulfilling the objective and defeating the enemy. You know? Verse 45. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slaying on the right hand and on the left, so that they were divided from him on both sides. Which done, he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him, whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. All right? So, what? The brother died because he was seeking a name. Yahushua is going to give us our honor, man. We just have to do this thing the right way. And we have to do it for salvation and do it to magnify the Lord's name. All right? Okay? Let's see here. Let's go to, now I want to touch up on how to examine yourself, like certain things that you can do to basically understand, when or how you're going off. Let's see here. What is it? I believe it's the book of Tobit, the 12th chapter. And this is the 8th verse. It says, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. So the point is, prayer and fasting are excellent constituents to put into your livelihood to understand if you're going off or if you're, what to do, what's the next step you should take. It's excellent in the process of self-examination. All right. But the brother can rebuke you and you might not agree with it. But what you do, you pray on it, you fast on it, and the Lord take the Lord takes that stumbling block away from you, and He gives you that understanding. All right, and you're able to digest it and be humble in spirit and grow. You know. All right. So let's see here. We'll grab one more scripture. This is the book of John, the 3rd chapter, St. John, chapter 3. Verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and man loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Right. So we don't want to be, we all were in the darkness, but we came to the light. All right. We came into the light. All right. But we must abide in the light. We must abound and grow in the light. We don't want to drift back into eternal darkness and confusion and death. All right. And how do we do that? By our deeds. If our deeds aren't on point, the Lord would take His Spirit away from us, man. That's real, man. He'll take. We've seen examples. Certain people who were with us, but they didn't abide with us because they were not of us. Why? Because their deeds, a lot of secret sins, not doing this thing in humility, not having diligence, so on and so forth, man. It says that light is coming to the world, and man loved darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. See? Verse 20, it says, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light. And that's why these people can't understand us. These different Christians, these different Muslims. Of course, you're going to have certain of them that come out of that madness. But they can't get it because their deeds are evil. They have pride on them. They seek vainglory. They don't have humility. So they can't understand the scriptures. They can't understand, the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right? Because they didn't come to this thing as a babe. They thought they already had the answers. They knew everything. All right? Verse 20, it says, for everyone that doeth evil hateth light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Right. So when you come into this truth, what? You have to be converted. If you smoking weed, you got to stop doing that. A lot of people don't want to let go of smoking weed. If you come in this truth, you got to make sacrifices. You can't do what you did in the world, And people don't want to let go of their lifestyles. They don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to do what's necessary in order to receive everlasting glory. All right. And receive a kingdom. All right. And ultimately to receive a perpetual name, because you will, by doing these things in the spirit of truth and sincerity, you're going to receive a perpetual name. But these people try to seek a perpetual name on this earth, instead of doing it the proper way and receiving it by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Verse 20, verse 21, it says, but he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. So, man, just a quick lesson on self-examination, remaining humble, circumspect, diligent, and doing what's necessary in order to complete and fulfill the mission. All right. Of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to His Majesty, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, B'Hashem Rucha Kodash. Shalom to you, Akim.